shrugged off the disturbing climate change report that was just released. But CNN found a way to fact-check her in real time. Take a look.
And you have to look at the fact that this report is based on the most extreme modeled scenario, which contradicts long-established trends. Modeling the climate is an extremely complicated science that is never exact. The biggest thing that we can do is focus on how to make sure we have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the president is certainly doing that and certainly leading on that front. We think that this is the most extreme version, and it's not based on facts.
Oh, no. Well, this is the most aggravating topic of all because it affects everybody. Yes. I think these people would rather have $1 billion in the bank than breathe. I really do. Well, they'd rather have money than breathe.
Do you think that Al Gore would rather have $100 million in the bank than breathe? Because he sold Current TV for $500 million to Al Jazeera, which is its gross domestic product is oil and gas. He made oil money selling, and he's Mr. Climate Change porn himself, number one.
I happen to know about this because my show was canceled.
I happen to know about this
Wait a second. I had a show on Current TV that was bought by Al Jazeera because Al Gore sold it to them. So I'm no fan of Al Gore personally,
but he's the king of climate change.
Because of him.
But he's the king of climate change.
But see,
there's so much hypocrisy on the left with this. I'm sorry, Leonardo DiCaprio had 418 tons of CO2 last year. Every celebrity and person and advocate on the left, if you want us to start taking...
Is Leonardo DiCaprio in office? He's
a huge climate change person.
He can't make policy. He's not...
You want to change hearts and minds? Stop lecturing Americans.
I do take private planes. I'm not going to lie. Because I don't want to be on a plane where I got to talk to 1 million people when I have to get where I'm going. So, yeah, there are some things that I'm going to be guilty of because I do not, contrary to popular belief, I don't walk on water. I try, but I don't. So, yeah, there is a lot of garbage there, but what's happening is we are dismantling things that have been put in place that were working, and I think that's the biggest bitch, more than whether Leo did it or I did it or Kanye and
Leo does. Well, and you do it because you have a fear of flying that everybody knows, but this is my issue with this. Climate change is not a left or a right issue. So to point out hypocrisy on the left or point out hypocrisy on the right, I have kids that are inheriting, you know, shorter winters, longer summers. They're not going to be able to breathe. You know, the water is heating up. That's what we need to be talking about, not that Al Gore sold something or that Leo is...
I'm sorry, this is so ridiculous. Please stop clapping so I can finish. Al Gore made an inconvenient truth. He's the face of climate change. Hands down, he made a movie that was wildly popular, won an Oscar. The United States is on track to make our emissions target for the Paris Climate Agreement. Most European countries aren't. So in the Paris Climate Treatment Accord, the Americans in the United States are meeting our limitations, but European countries are not, and there's no repercussions for that. So please don't sit here and lecture me.
Because they're polluting.
I'm saying we're meeting our emissions targets. The United States is meeting it, and European targets
why is he allowing mining waste to be dumped into streams?
You don't care about European countries, but you care that America doesn't. I'm
an American. Let them worry about
that. The problem is the oceans everyone contributes to, and that's the problem is we can make all these efforts. I guess it has to start somewhere. My biggest issue with this is the report that Sarah Sanders is talking about is within their own government. It's within their own administration, coming from their people. So to say that the facts don't matter, I actually think that the GOP is not going to have a choice but to evolve on this issue. Same with gay marriage, because the next generation is going to speak up. When my dad ran for president, he wouldn't have won anyway, but people said the nail in the coffin for him was when he tweeted, "To be clear, as a Republican, I believe in evolution. I trust scientists on global warming. Call me crazy." They said that was it for him.
Well, you don't trust the guy who looks into the sun to see the eclipse?
Here's my take on that.
That's the one to trust.
You look at the global politics of this. Paris was on fire over the weekend over this very issue because Macron is trying to tax average Parisians. Now, I believe in climate change as well. I also don't believe that when people like Al Gore and people like Leonardo DiCaprio with this kind of carbon footprint, that average Americans in between should be penalized, or average Parisians. Do a little research on fire over the weekend, tear gassing protesters over this.
But see, we all agree that climate change exists. Sarah Sanders sat there and lied to the American people and said that they weren't based on facts. She doesn't believe the science. That's what people should be very concerned about.
These people are running, not Al Gore and not Leo DiCaprio.
If you don't care, again, fine. But I'm just saying, I believe in climate change. It's not that I don't have a problem believing in science and believing in climate change. I have a problem across the board with the messaging from the left to average Americans. It's happening in Europe. It will happen here 100%.
How about this? How about this?
I see it as a left-right issue when it comes to politics.
It actually isn't a left-right issue because when the air goes to crap, left-right people are breathing it. So it's everybody's thing. And so what I'm trying to say is the bitch about this, again, is we are on track to do stuff. But when we have an administration that is sort of unraveling all of the things that we've put together.
We're meeting the Paris climate change.
I understand, but I'm also looking at the air quality in this country, how it is shifting, and it is beginning to shift because things I know, never mind. We'll be right back. There's this other story. The National Review is calling out liberal and conservative media for what they call flawed coverage of the Obama administration. Now, they point out that Obama had Border Patrol agents use tear gas at the border, too, and no one was interested in covering it then. What do you think?
Is there evidence of that? Because I saw a picture. I'll show you this photo that's circulating right now. These two little girls, shoeless, fleeing from tear gas. Do they have a photo like that when Obama was in with us?
No, but the Homeland Security data does validate that it happened multiple times, more than once a month, in fact, during the Obama years.
Here's another thing I read in that piece. It said
facts are stubborn things, guys. I mean,
it said
tell us about it. Yeah, tell us.
And we can call out, BS on both, to be honest. Because of the president's rhetoric, I think we're shining such a light on this.
It's a big difference.
But in that piece, it said over a period of 4 months in 2014, under the Obama years, HHS allegedly placed a number of unaccompanied children in the hands of a ring of human traffickers who forced them to work on egg farms in and around Ohio, leading to a federal criminal indictment. And according to the indictment, the minor victims were forced to work 6-7 hours a week, 12 hours per day. These are things that we don't talk about. But the challenge is
last I checked, President Obama is no longer in office.
Exactly.
President Trump is in office. And
he's destroying the country.
And he's destroying the country. And this but Obama defense, doesn't work for me. That's not to say using tear gas. I think it's immoral when you're using tear gas against children. But ProPublica just found that the Trump administration has secretly continued to separate kids from their families. The Obama administration never did that.
But I'm just...
the ACLU says that kind of separation is unprecedented. So this whole, but Obama did it, I don't care what Obama did. I don't care what Trump is doing right now.
I think it's strange to say that we don't care that it was happening before. Sorry, I'll let the applause line happen. But and again, not the but I'm saying the coverage didn't even mention that this has been going on since 2012.
But neither did the Republicans. The Republicans have never mentioned this. Listen, with all the stuff
if you're infuriated now, you should have been infuriated then. That's all I'm saying.
Actually, what infuriates me...
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Here's what infuriates me. The fact that we knew Obama was the...
Deporter-in-chief.
Deporter-in-chief. That was very clear. He deported more people than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay? He did it without saying those people. He did it without whipping people up into hatred. That's the difference. So that when you say, oh, Obama did... Thanks. So this idea of, well, he did it, well, yeah, he probably did. And we're aware that he was a deporting fool if you read the statistics. He deported folks. Everybody said, hey, we don't like this part of it. But I also remember there was no help from Congress. There was no help from the Senate. Nobody was there saying, hey, we're going to stand with you. So where were the Republicans if they knew this was happening and they felt that it was wrong?
I guess they didn't think it was wrong.
Where were they then?
Did Democrats think it was wrong? I mean,
we don't know.
I don't know.
This is the first time I'm seeing all this. So this is my response.
Maybe that's the whole point of the conversation. Maybe what the problem is let's point out the hypocrisy. And unless you're sitting in the president's seat, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, and you're faced with the challenges that they are today when it comes to the border and immigration, and you're talking to the experts on the border and they're telling you how to handle this, I think it's hard to sit on the sidelines and yell and complain about what's going on until you're actually in their shoes.
I will yell
I'm not defending the rhetoric
about separating children from their parents.
You know what? But it doesn't mean... First of all, we were talking about tear gas. We were talking about tear gas. I wasn't talking about children being separated. And the other thing I want to say is that I come on here a lot and concede when Republicans are making mistakes. I did it yesterday with the woman who just became senator of Mississippi. I did it when I was talking about Hillary Clinton. It would be nice if my friends on the left once in a while conceded that they were wrong.
It's just,
at
it's
this
not
table,
that.
I'm sorry, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Wait,
It's not, we're not
that's
responding
not...
to that. We're responding to the whataboutism that goes on.
I think it's a fair comparison that you're not mad when Obama did it, but you are mad when Trump did it.
We would have been.
I'm calling BS on that. You want to finish this conversation?
No.
Yes.
And this is The View.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.